everyone. Another story. This story is a bit humorous, really, and it talks about my family raising money to buy my kuia a bed. Remember, we lived in three houses in Tamapo, which had dirt floors. They were unlined timber, unlined corrugated iron whare. And really, we lived in fairly abject poverty. We had no running water, we had an outside toilet, and the Rangitaiki River was our bathroom. And this story is called The Bed. And it is from the early to mid 1950s, and I was probably between 6 and 8 years old or something. The bed. My mother insisted that I go to the river. Yes, it was in the middle of winter, and have a bath. We did not have a bathroom, or bath, or running water, so it was off to the Rangitaiki River, strip off and dive in. Then a quick soap up with sand soap, and another dive, and a rapid run home. We had towels, but they were only for special times, so I dried off in the cold morning air. Kuia was waiting for me. I got dressed, and my mum Rere combed my knots, my hair. Kia tere, kei te haere mai te pahi. Hurry up, the bus is coming. We stood for a long time waiting for Uncle Tareihi to pick us up in the cave's bus he drove, the Whakatane Clipper. He drew up slowly, and the bus, it was packed with people. Kuia, Rere and I sat in the front seats because they were specially reserved for us. Uncle Tareihi put a gorse bush on it, and we settled in for the hour trip to Whakatane. Kia ora e kui, sang out a bus full of people in unison. She turned around and replied, Kia ora katoa, he mihi, greeting to everyone. She stood. Ho mai koutou money, muni. Give us your fares, she said. Everyone chuckled. A woman rose from the middle seat and weaved her way forward. She had a wrapped package in her hand. Anei e kui, he parawa mau. Here's some lunch for you, kui. Kia ora, said kui. Kui was slightly embarrassed, but she took the package anyway. To refuse the gift was to offend the giver. The bus drew outside alongside Puhutaro Rock, the bus stop in Whakatane. A noisy crowd gathered their bags and boxes and alighted. Kuia, my mum Rere and I waited till the bus was empty before we climbed down. Uncle Tareihi came over and kissed his mother, Te Amakura. He slipped her an envelope, which I guessed contained some money that the families had collected to help our kuia. Kuia passed the envelope to my mum Rere, who opened it and counted up its contents. Rua te kaupuna, £20, said my mum. He pēti e Rere, said Kuia, a bed. Kei te pirangi au ki te hoko pēti. I want to buy a bed, Rere. We made our way to a large store called the Farmers Trading Company. It was full of new furniture, appliances, apparel, electric goods and ironware. It was a maze of leather, chrome, wood, glass and iron, and also fibrous materials. For this kuia was in another world. She had not been here before, but Rere had talked about it. The company displayed the goods, but only sold the goods on consignment. In other words, you had to order the goods you saw, and a week later it was delivered by rail. We took our shoes off at the door, as you do, and stepped into another world. Everything was organised in straight rows, We walked slowly down the aisles with my queer's eyes on stalks as she looked around at a world she'd not seen before. The shop smelt of beeswax and shellac paint. Everything was clean, bright and glistened. A shopkeeper approached. "Greetings, ladies. Wonderful day. Lovely weather. Can I be of service to you?" My queer looked at him. "Kei te aha wana kōrero, what is he saying?" My mother explained that he was being nice and he was greeting us. "Kia ora, Pākehā." "Greetings, Pākehā," said my queer. "Is there anything you young ladies would like to see?" he said with a smile on his face. Dede explained we came to see the beds, as Queer needed one. Queer had slept on a kapok mattress on a wooden slat bed all her life, sometimes on the floor. Her hips had deteriorated, and Dr. Marker, our doctor, had suggested that the whānau buy her a comfortable bed so she could sleep better in her old age. The whānau had met and decided to buy her another bed, and they would share the cost. Queer was so surprised. A week earlier, Jock's uncle, the delivery man, had delivered a package from Aotearoa. It was some white sheets and some white pillowcases. Queer had thought they were really special because they had blue labels on them. Waikato Hospital Board Stores, they said. On another part of the sheets, written in a red marker pen, it said, "Stores Department, Disposal, Sold." Queer felt these were the best money could buy. Yep, special, and from the stores of Waikato Hospital. The storekeeper led us around the shop to a large wall of display beds. The choice was absolutely overwhelming. Queer and Rere stood there, dumbstruck. The selection was incredible. The storeman fussed about explaining the virtues of each bed, and he was a mine of information. He was good at what he did. I, because I could read all the labels, and I was fully occupied. Queer and Rere looked hard at all the beds, felt the quality, pushed and pulled at the mattresses. The storeman stepped forward. "The cheap ones are down there," he said. "I guess that's what you're after." He had looked at them again to navigate his way through the mire of clues these two women were giving him. He guessed that the two women were rural, poor, had very little money, and were unsure of quality assessments. "May I inquire what your budget is, please, lady, so I can show you the cheaper stocks out the back?" "Okay," said my mother, Dede. "We would like to buy Queer here a bed. Our budget, from the whole family, is £20. He choked. £20? Gosh, that's the premium stock we have up front. "Are you sure?" he said to Dede. £20 was equivalent to a month's wages. "Why so expensive?" he asked. My mother replied, "Because our Queer has worked hard all her life, and we want the best for her." £20, huh? Gosh, it's a small selection here. I'm sure there's something I can order in for you. I got bored. Boys don't like beds, really. I went to look at the triangle bikes and the rally bikes and the triangle toys. I was having a great time. A shopkeeper did signal me to keep my hands off the stock, though, and I could see Rere and Queer handing over some money now to the storekeeper, and he was writing out a receipt. Queer seemed to be really smiling. Boy, she was delighted. A week passed. Jock's uncle turned up at our place one morning. On board his Bedford truck was Queer's bed, wrapped in a large parcel, covered in jute and cardboard wrapping. The headboard and toe board were also wrapped in protective cardboard and strapping. Queer ran out to see Jock unloading the bed with his offsider. They cut through the cardboard and the jute, exposing the most incredible bed ever seen in Te Mapo. Jock and his worker carried it into Kuia's bedroom. Dede gathered the special sheets and she made the bed up. And there it stood, new, proud and very white. Kuia made Jock and his worker some lunch and stood by enjoying her lovely bed. It was a good day in Te Mapo. It was Saturday. The evening came quickly. A lot of noise was coming from our Kuia's house. I ran over to have a look, and here is Kuia with a brace of her friends playing cards on her bed. The special sheets looked good too. They were very white. 6 diamonds, 7 no trump. The game progressed and everyone seemed to be comfortable and happily engrossed. The late night crept in. The game stopped. The tilly lanterns in Kuia's house were dimmed. Kuia washed, and she sat combing her long hair. Dede came over and gave her a hot cup of tea and some toast. Kuia slipped into her flash white sheets, and she whispered, "Tino pai taku whānau ki ahau. He raiti moko, po Maori e." "My family is so good to me," she said. "And switch off the light, grandson. Good night." She shut her eyes and breathed slowly until she fell deeply to sleep. I crept back to our house, and from my bed, across the courtyard, I could see her sleeping quietly on her magic new bed. I chuckled. You know what? At school, my group had been reading about a princess who could feel a pea underneath her mattress. I wondered if I put a pea under Kuia's mattress, whether she could feel it in the same way. Nah, second thoughts. She wouldn't. She was tough. She spent a lifetime sleeping on those rough boards. But tonight, though, she was our precious, precious princess, and her bed was her castle, and she slept sweetly. Moi mai e kui, moi mai rā, sleep kui, and sleep forever. Wasn't that a good story? That story brings memories for me and living in our poverty-stricken houses, really, which were very poor. Sometimes I was a bit embarrassed with our poverty, but you know what? We were happy and we enjoyed each other. And our Kuia, being the matriarch, she kind of set the pace on accepting whatever was yours, and whatever you had created happiness. Thank you, folks.